Hello everybody, this is Roberto Parker with Innovative Sports Training. It is time to talk about the power of the thyroid. Another video blog. I hope these blogs are helping you out, guys. I think they're very educational for you guys and I appreciate some feedback on it. Well, let's get into depth on the thyroid. Now, as you can see in that illustration, the thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland. But don't let that deceive you. That butterfly-shaped gland plays a huge role in every process of our body from a metabolic perspective. Function of the thyroid. It regulates the metabolic processes of the body, controls the temperature of every cell in the body, direct communication with the hypothalamus, which is the brain, the adrenal glands, which are pretty much our stress glands, pituitary gland, which produces hormones, and you say growth hormones, pretty important, and sex glands. Now here's a chart of the communication that goes on between those different processes. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, the gonad / ovary, and the thyroid. They're all on the same communication axis. Now, as I mentioned before, the adrenals are pretty much your stress glands. When those get out of balance, it throws everything else out of whack, so to speak. And the thyroid normally can take a beating because of that. Now, I'm going to get a little bit scientific on this, so please bear with me. T4. This is called total thyroxine. This is a storage hormone. T4 includes unbound free T4. A more active form is free T4, and T4 is stored in tissues throughout the body and is on standby when needed for conversion. Free T4 is considered a precursor. T4 is converted to T3, which I'll talk about in the next few slides, as required by the cells throughout the body. Levels of T4 are generally higher than T3. Elevated free T4, FT4, is a sign of an overactive thyroid. Depressed levels of FT4 is a sign of an underactive thyroid. Free T3, which is free triiodithyronine, the more potent and biologically active thyroid hormone. T3 regulates growth and metabolism throughout the entire body. T3 is the accelerator that powers the body's metabolic processes. Low T3 is associated with hypothyroidism. In other words, hypo means that it's not working as fast as it should. Typically, doctors will not test for this, ladies and gentlemen. This is one reason I'm going over this, because I know that many of you go to the doctor and you want to get tested for your thyroid, but they will not run a complete panel of these unless you specifically ask for it. And some of them really don't want to do it, to be honest with you. Reverse T3, we'll call it RT3. As the name implies, reverse T3 opposes the biological action of T3. It slows metabolism and renders T3 in the body biological inactive form. The rate of RT3 production relative to T3 will increase in times of stress, high cortisol. Getting back to one of our earlier slides, cortisol is produced by the adrenals. And in the presence of nutritional deficiencies, inflammation, and/or certain medications. A portion of RT3 comes from the inactive form of T4, an active hormone that puts the brakes on T3. In other words, T3 is what gets the engine going. But if the engine is going too hard, if you're going 200 miles an hour down the highway 8 hours a day, that's going to burn out the engine. So RT3 steps in and says, okay, we got to slow this down so you don't burn out. And that's the purpose of RT3. Too much RT3 will bind up the thyroid receptor sites and inhibit T3 from doing its job. Now your metabolism isn't fast enough in receptivity and promotes hypothyroidism. Elevated RT3 that converts T4 to RT3 and not enough free T3 can read normal on a TSH and T4 on a lab report from your doctor. So when you go to your doctor, usually they'll run a TSH and it comes out normal, but it does not tell the entire story. You must run a complete thyroid panel that involves about 6 or 7 components. Now here we go. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. It's made by the pituitary gland. It tells the thyroid to increase or decrease production of that storage hormone, T4, which is important for the conversion of T3 depending on the amounts of circulating in the bloodstream via an efficient feedback system. TSH is the most powerful, prevalent biomarker tested by doctors to determine thyroid health and vitality. Unfortunately, TSH is a small part of the thyroid puzzle, and there are several other markers to test in order to determine functional health. You could be within range on a medical report and still have complications. In other words, you go to the doctor, TSH reads normal, doctor says, hey, you're great, but you feel like crap. So, doc, I feel like crap. Well, the doctor says it's just in your head. Sound familiar? Low TSH can lead to hyperthyroidism, also termed Graves' disease. High TSH can lead to hypothyroidism, termed Hashimoto's. Now bear with me on this. Most of you probably don't even know you have thyroid antibodies, but all of us do. They help to clean up the house, which we're going to in a second here. Anti-TG, antibodies to thyroglobulin, is a precursor to T4. If anti-TG are present in significant amounts, this suggests an abnormal immune response against your body, also called autoimmunity, in which the body is attacking itself. Anti-TPO, antibodies to thyroperoxidase, is an enzyme that inhibits the synthesis of T4. Antibodies to TPO indicates autoimmunity where the body is attacking normal proteins in the blood, in this case TPO. People with anti-TPO have a higher chance of developing hypothyroidism than those who do not have antibodies to TPO. Molecular mimicry, which is related to grain products and dairy products. The body has a way of cleaning up house by producing antibodies, which fights allergies and infections. We all need antibodies in our bodies to keep the house clean. But too much antibody can lead to autoimmune problems. And that autoimmune disorder occurs in which gluten and dairy molecules have similar molecular components as thyroidal tissue. Now, many of you, I'm sure, have never heard of that. Thus, when attempting to clean house, thyroid antibodies are produced in elevated numbers to attack and destroy non-essential tissues, which are good. But unfortunately, they can also attack essential tissues, i.e. your thyroid. That is not good. This attack of essential tissues can catabolize or eat away the thyroid and other glands, which causes major health complications. Hormonal balance. Thank you, Dr. Evan Mladenoff, for supplying this to me. Evan spoke on one of my webinars a few months ago on testosterone and estrogen progesterone balance. Number 1 up there, that is a normal hormone balance involving cortisol, thyroid, vitamin D, insulin, sex hormones, and growth hormones. Number 2, catabolic hormones. Catabolic hormones are your cortisol and your thyroid because they're very much involved in your metabolism. Catabolic hormones tear stuff down. particles down. Anabolic hormone on the other side. That's builds stuff up. It takes the stuff that's been broken down and it builds them up into building blocks for the body. That's your vitamins, vitamin D, insulin, sex hormones, and growth hormones. Number 4, now there is an imbalance. Too much cortisol, too much stress. Notice the thyroid block doesn't change that much. It stays relatively the same. Cortisol is overworking, therefore you're stressed out. You got some metabolic disorders going on there. Now, on the opposite side, not enough cortisol. Thyroid remains the same, doesn't it? Too much insulin, however. You notice that? Too much insulin. Now, that person is more likely type 2 diabetic or insulin resistant. Symptoms of an overactive thyroid. Man, there's a bunch here. Uncontrollable weight loss, bulging eyeballs, hair loss, jitters, cannot sleep well, frequent bowel movements, warm sweaty palms, over-anxious, muscle weakness, enlarged thyroid, rapid heartbeat, soft nails, irritable, scant menstrual cycles, meaning you don't have them very often, heat intolerance, infertility. Symptoms of an underactive thyroid. Visceral fat gain, which means around the gut and the organs of the body. Insulin resistant, type 2 diabetic, constipation, heavy menstrual cycles, loss of eyebrow hair in the distal 1/3 of the eyebrows, dry coarse hair, brittle nails, muscle aches, infertility, arthritis, depression, constant cold hands and feet, brain fog. 1 in 5 Americans have hypothyroidism and only half of them know it. 97% of hypothyroid cases are Hashimoto's in which the thyroid antibodies, there we go again, are attacking the thyroidal tissue, which leads to autoimmune disorders where the body is attacking itself. Now here's another one of those illustrations. Crash and burn. Now, as you can see here, everything is low. Cortisol is depressed. Thyroid is depressed. Vitamin D, insulin, sex hormones, growth hormones, everything is depressed. This person is in a bad way. This person is in a disease state that can rear its ugly head in many different ways, which are, you're always sick, gum disease, overweight or underweight, depression, forgetfulness, type 2 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, MS, Alzheimer's, you're irritable, Parkinson's, cancer conditions, Crohn's disease, arthritis, eczema, fibromyalgia, infertility. I could go on and on there, guys, but I didn't have enough room on the slide to put them all in. There are many, 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 many more. This person is in a very bad way. Don't let yourself get there, guys. Don't let yourself get there. Change your lifestyle. Now, here's some things that are bad for the thyroid. Bromine, which is a major endocrine disruptor. Now, it is found in pesticides, plastics, bakery goods and some flours, soft drinks, medications, fire retardants, some more disruptors that mess with the thyroid, chlorine in pools, fluoride, toothpaste, water in the shower. Now, even when you're taking a shower, what happens is fluoride's in the water, if you have a fluoridated water system, and it's getting into your skin, and you're also inhaling it via the steam, so therefore it's messing with your thyroid. Insufficient iodine, which is available in shellfish, fish, and seaweed, which most American people don't eat, to be honest with you. Now, here are some thyroid panel numbers. If you were to get a complete thyroid panel, here's what your numbers should look like. TSH, which is the top there, 0.5 to 2, total T4, 6 to 1 to 11.9, free T4, 1.4 to 1.8, total T3, 120 to 180. Free T3, 3.4 to 4.4. T3 uptake, 28 to 38%. Reverse T3, less than 15. TPO, less than 10. TPG, less than 20. And at the very bottom there, total T3 to RT3 ratio, 10 to 14. And free T3 to RT3 ratio, a 20 to 30. That is what your number should look like within those ranges. Request that from your medical practitioner. And if you don't have a practitioner who wants to do it, talk to me and I'll set you up, because I have a lab that I work with. I can run the labs myself. Not myself, but I refer you to a lab and they'll send me the results and we can sit down and go over your results. Be proactive. Now in my program, as you know, I offer lifestyle coaching, hormonal, nutritional evaluation with customized program designs for your needs, lab work, and lab assessments with customized lifestyle program based on your needs. So we look at your thyroid panel, your lipid panel, you look at your exercise in your life, or your lack of exercise in your life, physical exercise, and we come up with a program. We look at your nutritional habits. We come up with a program that's going to best fit your needs. I offer sports performance training classes, speed, agility, and strength, interval training classes, and I also offer in-person or phone consultations relative to any of the aforementioned areas. Now guys, here are some references for today's presentation. From Dr. McCullough, from Dr. Isabella Wentz, and there is a YouTube channel that I put on there which has all of my webinars in which some of the speakers mentioned thyroid. You can check that out as well. But check out these references if you want to go into more detail. Contact information where you can get in touch with me to set up an appointment. You get a 30-minute free consultation, guys. 30 minutes for free to see if it's a good fit for you or for me. But I know I can help you. Guys, I want to say thanks for watching today and have a blessed day and stay healthy. Take care and God bless.